Welcome to another episode of Tiny Tale. If it were to happen to you, it is an emotional tale that gets you thinking. Share the episode link if you can relate to the story. Let's get started then. Kavyaruna was exhausted beyond words, but continued with her work. She had finished packing the lunch bags for kids and Divyatej. She was serving breakfast to the in-laws and supervising the children with getting ready for school. Divyatej finished his breakfast in silence, reading the newspaper. Soon after he was done, he called the children. Come on, aren't you both ready? I'm getting late for work. Let's go. I'll drop you two at school and hurry to that meeting at 10, he said, taking his sleek looking executive lunchbox. The kids wished goodbye, kissed Kavyaruna. She was waiting for Divyatej to say bye, but he left without taking a second glance at her. She sighed and carried on with her work. Divyatej has always been an introverted personality. It was stupidity to expect such gestures from him. She consoled herself and set back to work. After the grinding morning, her in-laws had retired for their afternoon nap. Kavyaruna sat for lunch, alone in solitude. She ate while reading a book, a habit that she picked up from her mother. It was like she was in a different world and watching a movie with some popcorn in hand. Engrossed in her book, little did she notice that her mother in law had come out and was trying to have a conversation with her. She jerked back to reality when she spotted her mom in law. Is anything the matter? Yes, you forgot to put my eye drops. My eyes had started to itch, which is when I remembered. I've forgotten to remind you, she said, looking like a timid child, expecting a spanking from a parent. I'm sorry, Ma. I'll come and put it right now, said Kavyaruna, and went to wash her hands. A short while later, she returned to her cold lunch and a hot story, where the police were pursuing a drug peddler in a dense forest. She lost track of time and sat there with the unwashed plate in hand and reading the story as fast as she could. She stole a glance at the wall clock and found it was already 3:30. She hurried to wrap up the work and get the children back from school. That night, Kavyaruna was mighty tired for no valid reason. When she complained of tiredness and chest pain to Divyatej, all he said was, as soon as you're done with work here, go sleep. Instead of reading those stupid novels during the afternoon, why don't you take a nap? You will be active then. But then, when do I read? I want to read books. It is my first love. Have you forgotten? You used to gift me books during the first few years of our marriage, for every birthday, protested Kavyaruna. Come on, grow up, he said, and left the room. The next day, Divyatej was trying hard to wake Kavyaruna. She wouldn't budge. It all seemed like a nightmare to him. Whenever he woke up, he would always find his tea and a smiling Kavyaruna waiting to wish him good morning. Today she was sleeping beside him, or just lying lifeless as a corpse. He shook her more vigorously, hoping that it will breathe life back into her. Finally, he admitted that she was no more. She had left for the heavenly abode. He did not even remember how he spent the rest of the day. He was like a ghost, watching people come and talk to him, trying to reassure him. He tried to muster a reply, but could not utter a single word. It seemed as if Kavyaruna took away his voice along with her. He had never imagined that Kavyaruna would leave him one day. If truth be told, the guilt of not having spent enough time with her had taken away his voice. All the memories of Kavyaruna trying to make him talk to her eyes eagerly searching his eyes for some reciprocation of love and respect, and her whole being was still there. He could feel her presence. He wanted to call her out, but found himself tongue tied. It was as if he was being served the punishment for ignoring the most important person in the world. He meant the world to her. She would leave no stone unturned in proving this. But he had always hidden his love in the deepest abyss in his heart, and it was now consuming him. His relatives began murmuring in hushed voices, whispering and discussing the reasons Divyatej lost his voice. All of a sudden, his mother's words hit him. Now that Bahu is not here, you must either remarry and get a new mother to the children or take care of them by hiring maids, she said. He suddenly found his voice. I'm not going to remarry, Ma. I will manage without the maids, he said. Everybody was stunned. They never expected Divyatej to speak for the rest of his life, and were amazed at what he said. Divyatej suddenly found Kavyaruna smiling again, with a cup of coffee in hand. Wake up, my dear husband. Just because today is Sunday doesn't mean you can sleep until the afternoon, she said, and went away. Divyatej woke up and rubbed his eyes. It was confusing at first. He then realized it was all a dream. He heaved a sigh of relief and resolved never to ignore Kavyaruna again. He rushed to the kitchen and hugged her tightly. That was the tiny tale for today. Today's society has made men introverts who hide their true feelings. If you agree to it, share this video with them. Thank you.